pretty much enjoy creative endeavors basically wherever they crop up. My major included writing and music and visual art and theater, which are all different art forms, but if it includes making something, then I'll probably would love to try my hand at it. I very easily classify as a moody artist, so sometimes I am in a very strong mood where I have to draw, I have to paint something, I have to do that, or I just want to dance all day and I don't care, what else is going on. I just need to dance or play the piano or whatever. I almost always, if you see me walking around, I almost always will have a drawing notebook with me and a writing notebook, so those are like my constant companions I always have to have with me. I feel a little naked without them. These are a couple paintings that I've done. This one is one that I did while I was a junior, and I went and sat out in a graveyard for maybe 3 to 5 hours, and I just painted. I just painted this tree in the background. It was actually really fun, and it was very peaceful. And it was a good escape from normal campus life out to the graveyard to just paint for a couple hours. This one is a piece I painted for my husband, specifically to match my living room. The cross here is one that I got from a Petra exhibit that had come all the way from Israel, so that was really exciting. And then the rose petals are from roses that my grandmother ordered me from Israel from years ago that I saved. And so I did this painting for my husband. And then this one over here is one that I just am finishing. It's not actually even quite done yet. But it was a commission for a friend of mine because she wanted to send something to her daughter, and she thought that it would be pretty fun to send an original painting, so that's one that One of the things that I've always found inspiring for art is the outdoors, in particular trees and mountains and any sort of water body I find particularly inspirational. And my wonderful house has this great backyard where there's lots and lots of trees, there's a giant rock pile, and behind all that there's a swamp. And it's actually one of the most beautiful places. It doesn't smell very bad. There are mosquitoes, which is kind of a downside, but there's these two fallen trees that have fallen opposite ways, and so you have these giant, massive root balls. And so walking between these two roots, I always think of it as like the gates to the realm of fairy. I've left, random middle of my backyard and gone into the realm of fairy. And I go out and you sit on the fallen trees that hang out over the swamp, and there's tons of wildlife that'll walk around out there, and it's beautiful, it's very peaceful. At the beginning of the fall, it was so yellow with flowers, it looked like, a ray of sunshine had dropped in and was shining back at me. You can see it from the house, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful to go out and look at it. So that I find very inspirational. I like to go out with my notebook, either drawing or writing or whatever, and just sit out there for hours and do my thing. And something else that I find very inspiring is J.R.R. Tolkien. He's kind of a master craftsman at creating an entire world, and so reading his work and studying his work is something that's very inspirational. And one of my favorite quotes from the Silmarillion is, "Do not love too well the works of thine own hands." And I always try and keep that in mind, because while I love making things, I love creating things with my own hands, they are only things, and they are only my small creations, and while they're important to me, they're not so important as other things. So I was homeschooled, so my parents were big supporters of creativity, so they always encouraged us to be creative in our school projects. And then I also had like 100 million brothers and sisters, so when you threw us all together, we all got really creative, and we loved to do acting games, and we'd make stuff together, and so that was just something that I learned that I really liked. And then as I got older, I started developing my craft more and more to make it, less of a child's burst of creativity and more of an artist's endeavor. And then I felt like probably when I was around 16 or so, I really strongly felt like God told me that my mission in my life was to create, just to create as He created, which was something that I felt confirmed over and over again, and so that's what I went on to study in college, and that's what I'm doing right now.